When he found out he made the team, he called his mom. She was getting an oil change.
Welcome to the biggest winners and losers of NFL Week 1. I used to call this the best and worst, but I've rebranded. It's the same freaking show, just a different name. Today, after I comb through all of the NFL happenings, I will break down which teams or players or situations were the biggest wins and losses. For example, losers, the Giants, who got slaughtered by the Cowboys, including missing a 36-yard field goal, which would have saved them from the shutout. Statistically, the Giants accumulated a season's worth of horrible stats that you want no part of in a single game. They were shut out and blown out 40-0, gave up 7 sacks while getting none, lost the turnover battle 3-0, had a field goal blocked and returned for a touchdown. Dan Jones tossed a pick 6, the closest he got to an actual touchdown all game, and no team has hit all of those markers in a single season, let alone in one individual game. And Brian Daboll is the only head coach in NFL history that got a call from the police department asking him to please take off his NYPD hat. He said, "Isn't this to honor 9/11? The police said, do you know what the word honor means? Winners, though, the Giants social media team, who had absolutely nothing to tweet out all game. Not a single highlight, not a single fun moment, nothing. Has that ever happened in the social media era? I don't know, but I respect their self-awareness and knowing it wouldn't be appropriate, or just falling asleep and not doing their job. Let's relive all of the pain and glory for NFL Week 1 here on That's Good Sports. Ooh, today's episode is brought to you by goodchop.com/YouTube and my code That'sGood120. Now, I made a little surf and turf for this episode with my Good Chop. I asked Good Chop to rock with me this football season because I love the box of meat they send me. I ran out of their meat, and I had to go to the store for a big steak cookout I was hosting, and I was legitimately pissed at the quality of meat I had to choose from. I never want to get my meat from a grocery store again because Good Chop has spoiled me. All of their beef is either grass-fed or USDA choice or prime cuts. You select whichever you want. The chicken is free-range and organic. Someone say chicken breasts. Seafood is wild-caught and sustainably sourced. All that stuff's important to me, and none of the meat has antibiotics or added hormones. And there's over 60 high-quality meats for your box to customize and choose from, and every piece of meat I have ever received is in perfect condition. And I am very picky with the meat I consume. Now, they offer a 100% money-back guarantee, but you won't need it. Just go to goodchop.com/YouTube and use my code That'sGood120, or click the link in the caption below to get $120 off across your first 4 boxes today. Good chop! Let's kick off Week 1 with my smorgasbord, just a smattering of some of my favorite shit from the week. Starting with The Undertaker, or is it Michael Myers? I don't care. This ref, though, bounces up and throws a flag on a late hit by the Cardinals, showing that the refs, too, are indeed athletes. This is possibly the first time I've ever seen a ref look cool since that one guy penalized a team for giving them the business.
69, offense. He was giving them the business.
And I'm sure it'll be the last time for a while. Desmond Ridder and CJ Stroud's first passes of the season were both completions to themselves. That's just weird, right? Now, Ridder did replace Marcus Mariota, who scored a touchdown doing the same thing. Brett Favre also, first pass, famously, was to himself, which of course means these two quarterbacks will also set the touchdown and interception record in their careers. And one will defraud the state of Mississippi, allegedly. You pick which one. Surprise performance? Tight end Hayden Hurst, who threw Bryce Young's first NFL touchdown pass into the crowd. Great teaching moment from Hurst. He threw that ball away because he knew that the Panthers would be the only team from the NFC South to lose. What's the point of keeping your first touchdown pass in a loss, huh, Bryce? And Geno Smith, has never been more relatable to the average human than he was here getting chased by Aaron Donald.
Pressure comes late.
I thought I was gonna get eaten!
And congrats to the Steelers for showing us the funniest way for two teams to combine for 200 yards. Winning hands this week goes to Hunter Henry, who snared a pass with one hand to extend the drive on 4th and 8 and keep the Patriots alive in the fourth quarter. And finally, from my Broncos game, which you can see the full recap here, the blue line going askew. Because even technology was like, fuck this game. All right, first, my quarterback winner of the week. It's going to Jordan Love. Now, I think Tua had a better stat line, but Love was starting the post-Rodgers era without his top target in Christian Watson and still had 3 passing touchdowns, 2 of them to Romeo Doubs on perfectly placed red zone passes, and another where he hit Aaron Jones in stride on 4th down and 3. I'm happy for Jordan Love, and I'm also annoyed that the Packers keep finding good quarterbacks. Love hurts the rest of us. Love also showed great athleticism on a play where he fumbled the snap, picked it up, and nearly found rookie tight end Luke Musgrave for a TD. Would have been 6 if the ghost of Eric Decker hadn't tripped him up. Love already has more 200-plus yard, 3-touchdown passing games than Justin Fields. QB loser? Ryan Tannehill was truly awful against the Saints, and it speaks to the Titans' dysfunction at quarterback that he's going to stay out there after throwing 3 interceptions. But it's really hard to give this to anyone other than Danny Dimes. Jones averaged under 4 yards a pass against the Dallas defense, threw a pair of picks, and got sacked 7 times in a 4-point shutout at home. It wasn't just Micah Parsons either. 5 Cowboys had sacks, and a couple had multiple takedowns. Tough start following a massive contract that looked very questionable even before this stinker of a performance. My winning offense? Well, the Dolphins looked electric against the Bolts. When I watched the Dolphins offense after seeing Denver, it looks like they're playing a different sport. I didn't realize you could hit guys on the run. I didn't know you could get fast guys in space. I didn't even know you were allowed to have fast guys on your team. The Finns racked up 536 yards of offense, 215 coming from Tyreek Hill alone, and would have put up 40 more if not for a red zone fumble in their first drive of the game. 7 receivers caught multiple passes from Tua, and after we spent all offseason worried about his health, he wasn't sacked a single time despite dropping back and throwing 45 passes in this game. And he did that all without his star left tackle Terran Armstead on the field. His protection should get better. The run game does leave a lot to be desired, but it really doesn't matter when you throw the ball that well. 10.4 yards per attempt on his way to 466 passing yards. 2-and-on may turn into the most powerful conspiracy group on the planet if he doesn't slow down. My losing offense? The Vikings, who turned it over 3 times in the first half and left a bunch of points on the field, which turned out to bite them in the second half. Justin Jefferson, also very pissed off after only catching 2 passes for 12 yards in the second half. Not the guy you want to upset, Minnesota. He had 7 catches for $138 in the first half, by the way. I respect Minnesota's plan, though, to get away from what's working. Because no other team would have saw that coming. And now they might have to make Justin Jefferson the highest paid receiver and safety in the NFL after he hammered undrafted rookie Christian Isian after a Kirk Cousins interception. I know, Big Kirko. Winning defense? Well, the Browns' defense just might be truly nasty. Not as nasty as their quarterback, but still disgusting.
You know, you familiar with Deshaun Watson?
Oh, he's nasty.
Never been in trouble.
Ultimately, the Cowboys had one of the greatest defensive outings ever. I talked about them a lot already, so I want to highlight the Eagles' defense, who gave up 20 points, but also made the difference on a Darius Slay pick six and benefited from a sack and 7 pressures from rookie Jalen Carter, who had the most pressures by a rookie defensive tackle in 5 years. They also held the Pats to just 76 yards on the ground and forced an Ezekiel Elliott fumble in his first game as a Patriot. Ultimately, the Eagles turned away New England 3 different times on 4th down in the 4th quarter, coming up extremely clutch when it mattered, despite not getting a lot of help from Jalen Hurts and their offense. Losing throw, this throw by Deshaun Watson, who I have to believe thought the Browns were wearing their away uniforms. He literally threw this right to the defender. Watson was very bad in this game, and the Browns still won by 3 touchdowns, a testament to how underrated their roster just might be. Another loser, whoever has to try and block Myles Garrett. How do you block a man literally playing basketball? Ball so hard, motherfuckers can't block me. Losing moment, the Bengals waving the white flag against the Browns and pulling Joe Burrow in the 4th quarter before he could even get 100 passing yards. I do like Jamar Chase's Elves quote after the game.
It's frustrating because I called their ass elves and we just lost to some elves, so.
But if you're going to get beaten by elves, you're no better than an orc. And the battle for Midwest America belongs to the Brownies right now. Winning moment? Brock Purdy talking trash after throwing a touchdown against Pat Pete, who claimed he did his homework and was going to pick him off in this game. Spoiler alert, he did not. In fact, PP got burned on an early touchdown pass to Brandon Ayuk. And then later on in the 2nd quarter, Ayuk looked incredible in the season opener. Purdy's elbow looks good. His mouth was even better after the game, and he still hasn't lost a game where he hasn't gotten injured. In fact, he's thrown at least 2 touchdowns in every regular season game he's started. 6 in a row. Every week, expect to hear Brock Purdy is the first QB to ... Oh yeah, and Christian McCaffrey's still pretty fucking good too. Losers? The Bears on every single level of losing. They had a lot of optimism heading into this game and were completely bodied by their arch rivals. A team that's showing that they're going to own them no matter who's playing quarterback on either team. Their big move in the offseason was trading for receiver DJ Moore, and that was obviously necessary, but they only got the ball to him twice. While their trade acquisition from last year, Chase Claypool, failed to catch a pass or even try. And Justin Fields, who by the way got sacked 4 times and threw a pick 6, proved their offense is as bad at tackling as their defense. And Justin Fields only completed 2 passes that went for more than 10 yards.
I hate Green Bay.
Statistical loser, the Giants wide receivers. We thought Kadarius Toney was bad on Thursday, and he was. But it took the Giants wideouts into the 3rd quarter to surpass Toney's 1 yard that he had against the Lions. Kadarius Toney did delete his Twitter, but it turns out his Instagram is still up, and he didn't waste any time going after his old team. Winner? Guys who just lost talking trash to other guys who just lost. More, please. The team who got the biggest win? I'm going to give this to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who were left for dead after Tom Brady retired. Turns out that old Baker Mayfield made this team look decent. And even though Mike Evans wants out, he got into the end zone, and Baker had some tough runs that might have literally killed Tom Brady last year. Huge upset win on the road for the Bucs. The team who took the biggest L, the Steelers, getting their asses just kicked by San Francisco. We heard all offseason about the Steelers as a sleeper team. I said it. I said that about the Steelers, and they just got outclassed by a team, albeit a good team, that usually doesn't start the season very well. The fact that the 49ers didn't lose a quarterback for the season week 1 should tell you how bad the Steelers defense is. Kenny Pickett was awesome in the preseason, but it turns out playing starters is slightly more difficult. The Steelers couldn't even hang their hat on TJ Watt's 3 sacks and near butt fumble recovery thing. Sorry, TJ, ass kissing gets you nowhere in this league. Losing call? Whoever blew the play dead, negating a Titans' potential fumble recovery for a touchdown. This looked like an empty hand for Derek Carr, but the officials blew the play dead before Kevin Byard could scoop and maybe score in a game where the Titans desperately needed a defensive touchdown. And since it's week 1, coming from a lucrative offseason, I wanted to ask, who earned their contract? Nick Bosa, TJ Hawkinson, Dan Jones, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson all signed disgusting contracts this offseason. And this week, who earned their paycheck? Well, the answer was definitely not Joe Burrow or Dan Jones. Nick Bosa didn't record a sack against the Steelers, and in fact, he got bulldozed by rookie tight end Darnell Washington. So I'm going to give this one to Lamar Jackson for simply getting a win, despite throwing for just 169 yards and a single touchdown against a bad Texans defense. Maybe no one deserves any more money going forward, okay? Let's just take the Hollywood approach with NFL players. Joe Burrow and Dan Jones had the fewest passing yards of any two QBs week 1 with 82 and 104. Josh Dobbs in Arizona had more with 132. New rule, if you sign a $100+ million contract and then play like shit, your paycheck that week should go to a guy that actually deserves it, like Josh Dobbs. Speaking of money, I'm assuming the Bengals wish they would have just given Jesse Bates some money. Bates was a huge impact player for the Falcons defense and helped them get a win. Winning rookies? Well, Ravens rookie wideout Zay Flowers was juking the Texans out of their shoes in his first game. Bijan Robinson split a couple defenders on his first score, but you have to give it up for rookie wide receiver Puka Nacua. Nacua was drafted 177th overall and had 10 catches for 119 yards, a ton of them on third down and in traffic. Puka looked tough, flashed some great hands, but I think this was a testament to how good my comeback player of week 1, Matthew Stafford, was. Stafford threw for 334 yards without Cooper Kupp, getting over 100 from Tutu Atwell, who finally showed up for the Rams. And even though Matt said he can't relate to his teammates anymore, he keeps connecting with young wide receivers. God knows if you don't have first-round picks, you have to find gems in the later rounds, and they might have stumbled onto one in Puka Nacua. Anthony Richardson, the third QB taken, looked dynamic against the Jags, but was still on the losing end in Indy. His grip performance against the Jags is good enough to give the Colts the losers who are actually winners, okay? They hung in there with the Jags and looked nearly competent, which greatly exceeded expectations. I liked how Shane Steichen's offense functioned in Game 1, and Anthony Richardson became the first rookie with 200 passing yards, 40 rushing yards, a passing TD, a rushing TD in their debut. So thank you to whoever the fuck keeps track of that bizarre combo of stats. He's going to be fun to watch, all right? Now get him someone besides Michael Pittman to throw to, and just pay Jonathan Taylor. Winner? Calvin Ridley scoring a touchdown on the first drive of the season for the Jaguars. 686 days between touchdowns. Ridley was the Jags' leading receiver at 101 yards and a TD. Losers? The NFL trying to deter more receivers from betting. Ridley showing how nice it is to have a year off. Come back fresh. Team that won but lost, the Ravens. They may have handed the Texans the L, but they lost a key pair of playmakers. J.K. Dobbins tears his Achilles, which is just heartbreaking for a guy who can't stay on the field. And Marcus Williams also went down with a torn pec. Ronnie Stanley is getting an MRI in his knee. Fortunately, it doesn't look too serious. But again, the story with the Ravens is injuries. They can't shed that. Coming in late, the Jets now trump the Ravens for the biggest losers who actually won the game. We've all seen the clip of Rodgers going down and his Achilles popping in front of our eyes. The Achilles rupture has been confirmed by an MRI he's done for the season. So just a shitty situation for him and for the Jets. Here's the Jets night in 3 clips. Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. Robert Saleh reacts because he knows he's done, and then Jets fans react appropriately. Now I'm going to break down this entire game in a separate episode, so come back later today. It was too crazy, there's too much to talk about, and I just got too deep. My losing coaching decision? Mike Vrabel kicking a field goal on 4th down instead of going for the win. Vrabel has never been big in the analytics community, But he shows again that for a guy who's willing to chop off his own dick for a Super Bowl, he won't hang his nuts late in games. Respect, though, for throwing a challenge flag 4 seconds into the season. And my losing finish? The Chargers. Dating back to last season, the Chargers have scored 92 points in the last 3 games and lost all of them. Maybe Brandon Staley, a defensive head coach, deserves a little more blame. I don't know, but they made the Dolphins look like they were playing downhill in this game, and that's just going to restart the most annoying debate in football regarding Tua and Herbert. They're both good, guys. They're both good. The Chargers gave up a late touchdown and followed it up going 3 and out, including a Justin Herbert sack on 4th and 13 to end the game. Made even worse is the fact that Austin Eckler and Joshua Kelly combined for 200 rushing yards. Thanks for watching the winners and losers of Week 1 here on That's Good Sports. Please subscribe if I didn't piss you off. Or if I did, hate watch me. Hate watch me.